Hello everyone. Now, I know this is not Dead by Daylight, but give this video a chance because Identity V is another asymmetrical horror game that is a 1v4 game where survivors have to power the gates in order to escape from the killer. And it has a lot of similarities with Dead by Daylight, but the gameplay itself does feel a bit different. So even though it's not Dead by Daylight, you can still learn a lot about how to be a survivor or a killer from this game. So I heard about Identity V a while back, and I heard that it was a mobile game, and because my phone does not really have that much space on it, I never tried it. But I was talking to a friend a few weeks ago, and he said Identity V now has a computer version that you can play. So I downloaded it from their website and decided to try it out. And it so happened that I started playing on their anniversary week. And so they had all the hunters and survivors available for free to everybody. So I was able to try out the game. Alright, so here is the lobby screen of Identity V. The hunter that I am playing, and they are called hunters in this game, not killers, is the Dream Witch. And I decided to try her out because in a survivor match I went against her and I didn't understand how she worked. So the best way to learn how a killer works is to play them. So the way Dream Witch works is that she's actually invisible to survivors. But you see that follower that's following me? That is what the survivors see. And she can take control of that follower to hit survivors. And whenever she takes control of it, it gets the red stain in the heartbeat. Now, right here I'm gonna look at this guy, and I want my follower to get closer because I can't hit him with the Dream Witch. I have to have my follower hit him. And she can also leech survivors, and whenever she leeches onto a survivor, it creates another follower. But this follower will be tied to that survivor, so if that survivor gets hit by the follower that they're leeched to, the leech disappears. It sounds complicated, but I'm gonna explain it. So that there is a priestess portal. She can make portals across the map for her team to use. And I just hit her, because when she makes a portal like that, it forces her to go through it. So I'm switching. As you can see, as the Dream Witch, I can switch between these two characters I have. And it can really mind game survivors because they never know what you're really gonna do with all of these enemies around them. So the reason I really wanted to go after that cowboy is because he can actually save survivors with that lasso he has. So you see this, how it's red there? That's basically the boundary of this, I'll call it a leech. So this leech, I can only control them when they are within the boundary. And whenever you leech to a survivor, that circle is around the survivor, it follows them around. But on the spawn follower, that's basically my leech, so it's bound to me, and it can only go in a certain radius around the Dream Witch's body. So it's a very complex killer, and it is something that's quite new to me, and I just wanted to try this killer out because I like the complexity of her. Of having to micromanage these little entities. So I'm gonna leech her because the goal is to get every survivor leeched, so that way I can have, you know, like 5 followers. And you can tell which survivor they are leeched to because they will be in red. So here, get an easy hit because the cowboy dives the save. Which, that's something I've noticed in this game. There are a lot more hook bombers or hook divers than there are in Dead by Daylight. So you see there's 3 survivors here because they all want to save. Now that there is a borrowed time of this game, and it's actually the old borrowed time from Dead by Daylight. So he's gonna go into the dying state when his timer runs out, because I hit him. So I'm doing good. I got almost every survivor leeched. except the Embalmer. Now, the scratch marks in this game are definitely harder to see than in Dead by Daylight, but I'm sure I'll get used to seeing them. And again, I'm playing during the free anniversary weekend, so you can try out any hunter or killer that you want. I mean, hunter or killer is basically the same thing. Hunter or survivor that you want. Because this game's been out for a year apparently, which I did not realize. So I'm still getting used to this game's controls. They are quite different than Dead by Daylight, because, you know, to hook someone is a different button than to pick them up, and all that. So, this killer is really good at just having kind of map coverage, because she moves really fast, but again, survivors can't see her and she can't interact with them. Now, what just happened there is the Mind's Eye cleansed the cowboy of my leech. So survivors can take the leeches off other survivors. So that's how you counter her. And if you ever notice those red auras, the survivor that a follower is leeched to will always see that survivor's aura. But if that leech ever hits that survivor, they despawn immediately. So the goal with Dream Witch is to try and hit survivors with ones that aren't leeched to that survivor, because then they disappear. And then you have to either get your spawn follower to go to them, or get a new leech on them. So Cowboy's gonna try... See, I kinda ran at him, because I figured that he would assume I would continue walking away, and I thought that would throw off his aim. Now I'm gonna try and get her in the basement, because the basement is a really strong place, but I'm not fast enough, she wiggles out. But I should be able to catch her, because she has to go a long way. Oh, there's the cowboy. Alright, and I missed my attack. Yeah, the cowboy can also carry the survivors he lassos. It's very unique. And we'll just get her. So, Terror Shock is basically how, in Dead by Daylight, if an injured survivor is vaulting a window, you can grab them off the window. That's basically what Terror Shock is. But in this game, you can be full health. If the killer hits you vaulting a window, you'll still go down. So this one, you don't have to be injured to get insta-downed vaulting. And the cowboy has Unbreakable. So, you see, this is what I like her so far, as you couldn't do something like that with the other killer. So I'll leech him, and then I'll try to find the Embalmer, because I'm a sweaty tryhard that needs to get a 4K in a quick match. I'm trying to get better with this game, so I want to prepare myself for the strategies I will need to utilize later. So I'm just following the Embalmer around, and I know where he is. And I did not make that. So let's see. Okay, I can leech him now, I think. Okay, so see, now I can cut him off, because I have this follower waiting on the other side of the bridge. So if you're wondering how I magically teleported earlier, in this game, killers have like 1 in 5 abilities, 5 or 6, something like that, that they can choose from. And one of those abilities is Blink. And Blink basically lets me teleport a short distance through walls or objects. Or there doesn't have to be objects in the way either, I just blink. Now, if you're wondering why I'm not hooking right now, it's because that cowboy, you see the little coffin on him? That means if I hook the cowboy, he will instantly respawn in a coffin somewhere on the map. And the reason that is because of the Embalmer character. The Embalmer character puts down a coffin, and then he can choose one of the survivors in the game to put in that coffin or himself, so that if they get hooked, they instantly respawn in the coffin. And it helps the team out because then they don't have to save. Now I messed up there. I hit the cowboy who I was leeched to, and you see that Faller's about to disappear. It's because I hit the person that they were leeched to. So I'm just waiting for the cowboy to kind of get close to bleeding out. Now this that they're standing on here is the hatch, so I'm going to pick up the Embalmer just before the cowboy bleeds out so he doesn't get hatched and I can secure the 4K. Because I'm still new to this game and I'm sure I'll figure out more later about like how this coffin thing works exactly, but I just know I don't want to hook the cowboy because he has the coffin on. Alright, perfect timing. He bled out. And the Embalmer was not dead hook because I haven't hooked him before. So, I guess I could have hooked him earlier then. But, you do what you do. And this is the endgame screen for this game. Now, on to the next game. Alright, my second game as the Dream Witch. I originally played Survivor in this game because my friends introduced me to it, and of course, Survivor is more fun with your friends. But also in this game, Survivor queues are really long sometimes, so I'm testing out the killers to figure out which ones I might want to get once this free weekend is over. Now this game has something that's similar to Iridescent Shards, where you can buy characters with this in-game currency you earn by playing the game. So that is what I'm going to buy my hunters with. Okay, so you see that ear mark in the top left corner? That's basically a better version of Whispers in Dead by Daylight. Because that ear, it only shows up when a survivor is within 32 meters of you, but also it does not trigger on people that are on the hook or people that are in the dying state. So that's what makes it better, is because if you have someone in the dying state, you know someone's close by because the ear mark is still up there. So I'm just trying to figure out where the survivors are. I have not played all these maps yet. And here we have a survivor. This is the Prospector. And the Prospector utilizes magnets. Unlike Dead by Daylight, each survivor in this game is unique and has abilities that are unique to them. So, managed to get the Terror Shock there because he did not know what he was doing and tried to vault the window. I'm just looking around, making sure no one else is here. Okay, so someone's in the back here. So they might try to go for the save right away. Alright. Can I find anyone else on a cipher? Okay, they saved them. Let's see if I can find them. Okay, they're going towards the factory, and we got another cowboy in this game. Alright. Yeah, so I lost control of my follower because I went outside the boundary. I have to move my main body closer to keep controlling her in this area. Right, so they're just running around the factory, which... The factory reminds me of Ironworks of Misery. The setup is not the same, it's just because it's a big factory thing. So I know someone's over here because... Oh, okay, they just cleansed that leech off of that survivor, so I know at least 2 people are here. So I'll leech the guy, and then see if I can get him. So I accidentally leeched the wrong one. I meant to leech the Embalmer so I could hit the Prospector. But, oh well. Now I can see the Prospector's aura running around. So let me see if I can get him. So you saw what happened just there with the Prospector pushing that follower? It's because he attached a magnet to that leech. So I just switched to the one that has no magnet on it so I could get him without worrying about it. Oh, I'm still getting used to switching in between these followers. So they already saved the Prospector. People save really fast in this game. So that is definitely one thing that happens here more in Dead by Daylight, is people save way too fast all the time. But I feel like in this game, the rocket share cooldown or countdown is faster than getting hooked in Dead by Daylight, because it seems like people get to the halfway point really fast. Oh, and there's the hatch. It's a giant purplish, dark purple door. Alright. He vaulted towards me, so I'll take it. Even though it makes my leech disappear, it's fine. I'll be able to hook him. You have a poor reaction time, my friend. Alright. Now let's see if I can get the others before they power the gates. Alright. Yeah, in this game, there's way more pallets than in Dead by Daylight. This game kind of feels like the old school Dead by Daylight, where there was a ton of pallets on the map. But I think the killers in this game are better equipped for dealing with pallets than they are in Dead by Daylight, so it's not really that big of an issue. You see how these survivors start running as soon as I put the follower down? Like, it's not like the follower spawns and there's a heartbeat and everything. When the only time they see the red stain or the heartbeat is when I'm controlling that follower. But I can get their caution. It is definitely a killer you have to be super cautious about. If you ever see these entities on your back, you definitely want to put some distance in between you and it, because you never know when the Dream Witch will take control of it. Oh. I was not expecting that. Unbreakable right in front of my face. Now, it's not called Unbreakable in this game. I'm just saying it so that way you guys understand what it is. And also, I don't know all the names of the skills in this game yet, so I'm just calling it by what I know it as. So there's the cowboy, he has the embalmer, but I'll get him, right? Yep, hit them both as they vaulted through the window. So that was worth the follower disappearing. Right. So I'll hook the cowboy first. No, wait, the embalmer. I was trying to hook the cowboy, but the embalmer got in the way. So we'll just hook him. Oh, and here comes the last survivor. Uh-oh, this isn't good. So, when you sacrifice the person that the follower is leeched to, the leech also disappears. So, that was a misplay on my part, and my spawn follower is in the basement, so I have to walk up those stairs if I want to chase. So right now I'm just gonna try and leech her, just to try and scare her off of this cipher. And then I'm gonna get my follower out of the basement, because he don't belong there. Okay, she ran away. But this is definitely an interesting killer, but definitely complicated. Because you have to remember where on the scroll wheel all your followers are. And when you have all 4 of them up, I'm sure it can get really confusing. Alright, the cowboy just gave up. He just emoted me to hit him, so let me see. Okay, the gardener's over here. I don't really want to hit her though, because then I'll lose this follower. And I want to have vision on her. But I guess I know where she is, so maybe I'll... I'm trying to hurt her. Okay, can I hook him before I lose control? Yep. Alright. Where'd she go? She's back on the cipher. Okay, my spawn follower came back, so that's good. So, there we go. And that's the kind of stuff that's really cool in this killer. You just have your leech chasing them and then they run right into you. Because they're looking behind them and not in front of them. Because they're watching that leech. So she's going for the save, I believe. Yeah. And, got greedy for the swing there, but got the second swing. And they have surrendered. That's another thing in this game that's not in Dead by Daylight is survivors and killers can choose to surrender if they wish to. And that is Identity 5. If you did watch this video all the way through, thank you very much for watching. And as always, good luck out there in the fog, and see ya next time.